Countdown Homemade Happiness. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to show you how to crochet the even berry stitch. So for this stitch you will need worsted weight yarn and an H 5mm crochet hook, but you really can use any weight yarn. You'll just have to adjust your hook size accordingly. This stitch is really easy with just a 2-row repeat. It's a great stitch to use like for accents, if you just need a little bit of extra texture for a few rows, for something like that. This stitch was perfect for that. So let's go ahead and get started by getting our yarn on our hook. And for this stitch you are going to chain an even number. So any even number works for this stitch. For this swatch I'm going to chain 22. So here I have my starting chain of 22. Like I said, for this stitch, any starting chain of an even number will work. So we're going to start with, our first row is just a row of single crochet. So I'm going to start by single crocheting in the second chain from my hook. So I'm going to turn my chain over and count these back humps. And here's my first chain, and I'm going to start in my second chain with a single crochet. So I'm going to insert my hook right here, pull up a loop, and work my single crochet by pulling through those 2 loops on my hook. So there's my first single crochet. The chain 1 does not count as a stitch, so we have 1 single crochet. So now I'm going to single crochet across my chain, doing that same thing, inserting my hook into that back loop and working my single crochet all the way across. So since our starting chain was an even number, row 1 and throughout should be an odd number. So for my starting chain I had 22. For row 1 I will have 21 single crochet. So you'll need an odd number. So maybe you want to start with foundation single crochet. You can definitely do that. You just need to make sure that you have an odd number of single crochet for your first row. Okay, here's my last single crochet for the row. There's my first row of single crochet. Again, this needs to be an odd number of single crochets. So now for the next row, I'm going to chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a single crochet. And I'm going to turn my work, and I'm going to single crochet in the very first stitch. So because this chain 1 does not count, I'm going to single crochet in this very first stitch here. Work 1 single crochet. And now I'm going to work in the next stitch my berry stitch. So for the berry stitch, it's kind of like a variation of a bobble stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through just this first stitch, this first loop, I'm sorry. So I still have 3 loops on my hook, and I pulled through that first one. Now I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook again into the same stitch and yarn over and pull up a loop. So now you have 5 loops on your hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5. When I have to do that, I like to pull it up a bit so that I'm stretching these loops as much as I can without too tight, but I want to stretch it so that my hook can glide through all of those loops really easily. And then I'm going to single crochet in the next. And with all bobble stitches and puff stitches, the texture will come around on the other side. So when we turn our work, the back of this stitch is actually the right side of our work. So I'm going to do another berry stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook into the next stitch, and yarn over and pull up a loop. So I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 1. I still have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and insert again into that same stitch, and yarn over and pull up a loop. Now I have 5 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5. And then single crochet in the next. Now in the next stitch, I'm going to work another berry stitch, and we're going to do that all the way across, alternating berry stitch, single crochet, berry stitch, single crochet, all the way across the row. That's the repeat for row 2. So I'll yarn over, insert my hook into that next stitch, and yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have those 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through just 1. Oopsies, just 1. There we go. Still have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, insert again into the same stitch and pull up a loop. So we have 5 loops on the hook now, and yarn over and pull through all 5. And single crochet in the next. So you can turn it over now and you can kind of see the berry stitches. And I'm going to continue that all the way across my row, working 1 berry stitch and then a single crochet in the next. And then single crochet in the next. Berry stitch in your next stitch. And single crochet in the next. And continue that all the way across. You should end with a single crochet. Here is my last stitch of the row, so I'm going to work a single crochet in the last stitch. Oopsies. And that is row 2. For row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn. So now I'm going to work a row of single crochet, and because my chain 1 does not count as a stitch, I'm going to start in this very first stitch right here with my first single crochet. And then in the next stitch, which is the top of my even berry stitch from the previous row, and then you'll work into the single crochet and into the berry stitch and all the way across. There is row 3, just our simple row of single crochet. And our next row is going to be a repeat of row 2. So for this pattern, it's just a repeat of row 2s and 3 until this is the length that you want. I will let you know that if you do a solid square of the even berry stitch, it will kind of start to tilt and go skew to one side and be a little bit sideways. But you can use some blocking or maybe make a border, and that should help with that a little bit. I think this stitch works really cute as like an accent in a top or a scarf or a beanie or something like that. But you can definitely use it solid. It just might go a little bit sideways on you. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat row 2 for row 4. I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And I'm going to single crochet in this very first stitch and then do my berry stitch in the next. So I'm going to yarn over and insert my hook into that very next stitch and work my berry stitch by pulling up a loop. So I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, insert your hook into that same stitch and pull up a loop. So you have 5 loops on your hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 5 and single crochet in the next. And I'm going to repeat that all the way across my row, ending with a single crochet. Here's my last stitch of the row where I'm going to work my last single crochet. And then for row 4, that was a repeat of row 2, and for row 5, I'm going to repeat row 3. So I'll chain 1 and turn, and I'm just going to single crochet across my row. Okay, here's my last stitch. And that really is all there is to it when you crochet the even berry stitch. Just repeat rows 2 and 3 until it's the length that you want. Here I've worked a couple more repeats of rows 2 and 3 so you could see how it starts to work up. Like I said, you could see it gets a little bit slanted as you work it, if you were just going to do a project with solid berry stitch. But it is so pretty. Doing that one yarn over pull through one loop in the middle of the stitch creates this really neat little texture at the top of the bobble stitch that you don't get with other bobble stitches. So I really like that added bit of texture that comes out with the berry stitch. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I hope it's helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.